America Meditating Radio Show, we collect wisdom, inspire each other, and empower hearts 24/7. Hi, I'm Sister Jenna. Join me and guest on Blog Talk Radio as we amplify stories that compel us to be more for ourselves and everyone else around us.
Are you in need of a tech service company that's going to deliver the best solutions for your business? Then Attronica is your solutions headquarters. Here we specialize in your individual needs to make sure your business shines. For more information, please call 301-417-0070 or visit us at our website at attronica.net. Attronica, where we deliver for you. Are you stressed, frustrated, or annoyed at work? You don't have to be. Soothe your mind and open your heart as Sister Jenna guides you through a peaceful, calming meditation that will prepare you to focus, be present, and most importantly, bring you back to your inner peace. The Azar Foundation for Children of the World is an organization aimed to support women and children in need across the globe. We believe in empowering lives, strengthening minds, and providing programs that enrich health and education. The Azar Foundation was founded in 2003 and has been serving the world ever since. Visit us at our website at www.azar4children.org. That's www.azar4children.org to find out more information about our endeavors and join our mailing list. Remember, the smile and the cry of a child doesn't have any language. The Azar Foundation. Blaylock Dialysis Center is a convenient state-of-the-art dialysis center in the Houston area, run by Dr. Panakin Patel. Relax in a comfortable environment while receiving quality care. Serving adults 18 to geriatrics, we are here to help you. Call 713-463-6611 for more information or visit us at our website at www.blaylockdialysiscenter.com. Blaylock Dialysis Center, where helping you get well is our priority.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to America Meditating Radio. Yep, you're still in America, and that was a beautiful song in the language of Hindi entitled Sab Kuch, which really is all about letting your mind elevate to a higher level of being and thinking, especially connected to the seed. We hope you're doing extremely terrific, and we're looking forward to seeing what the next few months are going to unfold for us here in America Meditating Radio. As you know, we have launched a new initiative entitled Meditate the Vote, and why not? I think we're being definitely called to meditate the vote now more than ever before because things are shifting, things are changing. We are hearing conversations that we're not accustomed to hearing so boldly. You know, in Star Trek they say, boldly gone where no man has gone before. Well, this political temperament or climate is definitely taking us physically to a place that we've not been before, hopefully not. But, you know, there's benefit in everything. And if you live your life from a state of benefit, that what's about to happen for you is good. I know it sounds like good intellectual jargon, but there's a lot going on, and there's something in the atmosphere. We are being called to heighten our power of acceptance and our power to be more spiritual, to live a life from in out, not out in anymore. We were at the White House recently for the screening of Roots' remake miniseries by the History Channel, and I have to tell you that it was provocative, it was mind-altering, and it returns us to the seed. So I want you to look forward to an article that I will be posting on HuffPost soon, because we are being tested. We're being tested. However dark the scene or the situation might seem, we are always being offered a choice. Do you want to supply or support the darkness, or do you want to move into where the light is? It's entirely up to you. And I think that we are all being called for that. Stay tuned because we're going to have the incredible Radhanath Swami with us, and he's going to be talking to us about how we live our lives from within. And right before I get Swami on the air, I'd like us to go to Sister Gita and have her do a beautiful reading on this incredible day that we've got in front of us. Sister Gita?
Good morning, and may we all be inspired by these inspirational words. The power lies in understanding the significance of every situation in your life. When a difficult situation comes up, lots of questions come up in the mind. I don't understand why that particular incident has happened. I begin to feel helpless and powerless in it. I can then do nothing to change the situation. We know that all situations have the solution. Whenever there's a difficult situation, I need to understand the significance of that situation. There would surely be some reason for that situation to have happened. When I understand it, then I can diagnose it correctly and feel in control, which will naturally make me feel more powerful to handle it instead of hopeless. May we all be inspired by this. Om Shanti.
Focusing my thoughts. Taking just a minute. Sitting quietly, I become aware of my surroundings. I focus on an object in front of me, allowing it to fill my awareness. Letting go of any distractions, I hold only the object in my awareness. Even if I'm distracted, I gently return my focus to the object. I identify one quality of that object. I focus on this. I hold this one thought.
Welcome back. That was just a minute meditation from Sister Genti, and we enjoyed listening to the readings by Sister Gita. The American Meditating Radio is proud to welcome Radhanath Swami. Radhanath Swami was born in Chicago and at the age of 17 traveled from Amsterdam to India, where he lived in the Himalayan caves, learned yoga from revered masters, and eventually became a world-renowned spiritual leader himself. His acclaimed memoir, The Journey Home, has been published in over 40 countries worldwide. And Radhanath Swami presently travels in Asia, Europe, and America teaching devotional wisdom, but can often be found with his community in Mumbai, where he works tirelessly to help develop communities, food distribution initiatives, missionary hospitals, schools, ashrams, and much more. His new book is entitled The Journey Within, and today we're honored to welcome Radhanath Swami to the American Meditating Radio. Om Shanti, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so very much, Sister Jenna. It is truly my honor and my pleasure to be with you and all of your wonderful listeners today.
Well, we're happy to have you on the air. The last time I think I saw you, we were at Bhakti Fest, and it was maybe about 2 years ago, and I'm always happy to know that you're bringing that energy everywhere you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I want to get right into our conversation about your book, because I know that that's a big thing on your plate right now. I mean, you've been on the journey for over 40 years in spirituality, and what more can you say? What more can you do? In terms of just living from within. And I think a lot of people, Swami, believe that when you practice a path of spirituality like the way you do, you're supposed to be perfect. But is it safe for me to say that it's not just about being perfect, but it's about acknowledging your weaknesses and working through them?
You said it better than I can say it, but I'll try to say it again. Yes, humility is a divine quality. Humility doesn't mean to self-efface oneself or to feel low esteem. Humility is to understand that the higher power of God's grace is the most sacred need that we have in our life, and we humble ourselves to receive that grace. And when we recognize our own shortcomings, it's actually a great blessing, because it gives us the opportunity to seek ways in which we can improve ourselves and to also humble ourselves before the higher power of grace. And it also gives us the opportunity to really open our hearts to learn and to hear from enlightened people, from enlightened literatures, and, from Mother Nature herself. The Bible tells us, seek and ye shall find, knock and the door will open. When we have a humble heart and we recognize our shortcomings and weaknesses, we can really seek that higher platform of grace, and that's the most valuable wealth in our life.
I'm smiling, Swami, because you mentioned grace a lot, and you've mentioned humility a lot. And I know that for many folks who enter onto the path of spirituality, perhaps one of the greatest enemies that kind of travels with you is the ego. And so humility is always the aim to come through with, And in your book, it mentioned a lot, isn't it? The Journey Within. Tell us a little bit about what was your inspiration behind writing The Journey Within, and why is humility such a big call for this incarnation for you?
A few years ago, one of my very dearest friends was on his deathbed, and he made me promise that I would write a book about my travels and my search for meaning and truth in life. And I made that promise to him. His name was Bhakti Tirtha Swami. And at that time, he smiled and squeezed my hand and said, "You cannot lie to a man on his deathbed." So publish this book. So I wrote this book called The Journey Home, which discussed the story of when I was a teenager in the 1960s, the troublesome environment that I was trying to understand, the civil rights movement, which I became very active in, and there was the counterculture, the war in Vietnam. And I just saw so much, even where there was wealth, there didn't seem to be happiness. I saw so many apparent contradictions in the whole concept of the American values of liberty and justice for all. So I became a social activist, and after some time I really believed that unless I change myself, unless I find that goodness within myself, I can't really be an instrument to make positive changes in the world. So I focused on a spiritual quest, and that led me to hitchhike from London to the Himalayas, through the Middle East and Europe, and I encountered many different spiritual teachers and many different experiences, and each one seemed to be leading me forward on my quest. After the journey home came out, I was requested by quite a few people to write a book about the essential universal teachings that I discovered on my journey and that I've tried to live by ever since that time over the past 45 years. And it's entitled The Journey Within. The idea is, there's a saying that things could give pleasure to the body and to the mind, but only love could give pleasure to the heart. And love is an exchange of between people. We should love people and use things. But unfortunately, in today's world, we love things and use people. And it's a very unsatisfying situation for the heart. And the journey within is finding the origin of that love that's within each and every one of us. The Atma, which is the Sanskrit word for the living force or the soul that's within us, is beyond birth and death. It's a part of God. It's divine, and its nature is true, enlightened happiness. And that happiness is in our love, to feel the infinite love of God in our life and to be an instrument of that love in whatever we do, wherever we are, and whoever we're with as far as possible. And that experience is within ourselves. Unfortunately, we're so much trying to find fulfillment by accumulating different sensual experiences and different objects of acquisition that we forget what we're really looking for is within our own heart. There's an analogy that I learned in the Himalayas of the musk deer. Musk is one of the most treasured and expensive fragrances, and it's coming from an organ within a particular deer. And that deer gets a sense of that smell and spends his whole life trying to find it, risking his life, going through jungles and crossing rivers, and never really finds it because it's actually within himself. And that's really the story of humanity. We're looking for fulfillment, meaning, pleasure. We're looking for love, ultimately, and that's within ourselves. And when we can find it within ourselves, then the greatest joy in life is to share that love, whether we're in business or politics or engineering or science, whether we're educators or whether we're swamis, whatever our particular vocation may be, it's a perfect opportunity to share our treasure of peace and happiness and love through the body and the mind. What I have found to be a very universal principle of all true spiritual paths, to take that journey within ourselves.
Swami, may I ask you a very personal question? Since you've, and I can only speak to my few decades of being on my spiritual path and journey, and while you might be born into this, like this became your DNA, something very deep within you, and now you've put this journey on paper, which originated from the journey home. Have there ever been moments, Swami, where you were like, why am I even doing this? Why am I living this? I mean, were there moments when you felt inside of you, where's the reward for all of this penance or tapasya or intense inner search?
Thank you for that question.
No, I'm asking something very sincere, because I know that if I really, for me, when I really want to be true to my path, I ask myself these questions because I want to be so real to the folks that have continuously believed in my example, however, strange it might look at times. But I just find it such an important question. Your thoughts, please?
Whether we're on a spiritual path or just on a very materialistic path, challenges will come of all varieties. That's just the nature of the world we live in. And on the spiritual path, we try to develop a foundation that gives us inner strength and inner faith. And that comes through, people who give us that faith. whether it's the saints of the past or the saints of the present, that satsang or that association with enlightened people really gives us the appreciation that these qualities are within me. And certainly, so many reversals have come in my personal life, and at times I've wondered, what am I doing and why am I doing it? But it's like a storm. But because by God's grace and the grace of my Guru, Srila Prabhupada, I have a foundation of wisdom, of personal experience, of examples of great people. That foundation truly helps me to not only be stable in the times of storms, but actually to grow.
And I guess it just confirms to you that, there's a saying that the boat of truth could rock, or it does rock, but it won't sink.
That's beautifully said. Thank you.
Right. So, here we are in America. We've launched a new initiative here from the America Meditating Radio, Swami, which I'd love for you to get involved with. It's called Meditate the Vote. And we're not choosing party sides and we're not choosing a candidate, but what we're trying to choose is for folks in America to strengthen up from within, like you claim in your book, The Journey Within, because we are so extroverted as a nation, and we're being forced to turn inwards, but I'm sometimes concerned if we even have the tools, or do we even know, how to make our lives stronger so we can be a better for this nation. I believe that we are incarnated and we are living in this country for now. You're in Mumbai and you're always traveling back and forth, so I know that for you everywhere is home. But speaking about the country here and where you wrote from the journey home, the Vietnam War and all of that, I know you've got that spiritual passion. Always it's going to be bubbling in you. I don't care what you tell me, but I know that's going to be sitting somewhere in you. What do you feel is the shift that's happening right now in our world? And is there something that you can offer to that shift, something that you could share with us?
What I see in my travels is a lot of polarization taking place, wherein there's a rise in greed, in arrogance, in exploitation, whether it be exploitation of people who are less materially privileged, or exploitation of the environment, exploitation in the name of religion or racism or nationalism. And in the face of this, people are out of fear, many becoming more strongly aligned with these dividing forces. And I also see many, many thoughtful people. It's almost like the bubble that everything's all right is bursting, and they really see that, the materialistic dream that we've been taught is not really of much depth or substance, and they're looking for, either through social activism, through philosophical research, or through spirituality. They're looking for something deep, something more meaningful that could actually overcome the tendency for all of this divisiveness and exploitation in the world. Because as Gandhi said, we should try to be the change we want to see in the world. And each one of us, we have a very powerful inherent strength to be a change in this world. In our tradition, there's 3 principles that help to connect us to that inner substance of who we really are and the love that is our true nature. One is satsang, which means to associate with people who enlighten us, like listening to Sister Jenna's meditation show, to read books that inspire us, enlighten us, give us direction, and to put us aside every day some time to actually meditate, pray. In our tradition, we chant God's names. We believe that in every great tradition there's God's names, and these names are sacred, they're divine, and they have the power to awaken from within us our true potential of happiness and love. And we chant this Hare Krishna mantra. There are many mantras. The idea of mantra is it cleanses the mind and frees it from anxiety and misconception. Just like a drop of water, when it falls from a sky, it's transparent and clean. But when that water touches the ground, it becomes muddy and loses its transparency. Filtering the water simply brings it back to its original quality. So the idea of spiritual practice, the idea of chanting God's names, these beautiful mantras, is to filter our consciousness to bring it back to its natural, transparent state, where we can actually experience our eternal nature and experience the divine love that's within us.
Beautiful, beautiful, and so needed at this time. And you mentioned Hare Krishna, and I know that you've been one of the leaders for many years. They're approaching their 50th year anniversary. Has there been a lot of change in the Hare Krishna movement from what it was back then for you and to what it is today?
That's a very interesting question. Thank you. I came in contact with this spiritual path in India, in a place called Vrindavan, where for thousands and thousands of years it's been a place of pilgrimage for those on the path of bhakti, or the yoga of love and devotion, who especially focus on Radha Krishna, the divine male and female aspect of the one supreme God. And it was there that I lived on a riverbank, and just by living with the people and hearing the teachings, my heart was just completely transformed, and I felt so much at home. After years of searching, I really felt in a very natural way that God has shown me my path. So I decided to stay in Vrindavan. And after about 6 months, Srila Prabhupada, who had lived in Vrindavan for many years, and at the age of 70 in 1965, he took the message of Vrindavan to the Western world. He took a cargo ship from Calcutta. It was 38 days at sea. He had several heart attacks and other illnesses on the way with no medical attention. And when he finally arrived in New York City, he actually knew no one and had no money. But he had a great desire to share this beautiful ancient message of Krishna. And I met him in Vrindavan in 1971, and I saw that he was presenting something that was so authentic because I was living within its traditional context. And he had such deep compassion that I really, really wanted to just assist him. And I gave my life to assisting him in presenting this beautiful traditional lineage of bhakti, which, great saints have, and followers of all varieties have taught and have followed, since over the centuries. When Prabhupada first came to America, it was mostly people of the counterculture in the mid-1960s that were taking interest in him, and he began by just starting little ashrams in storefronts, and then little by little they got some bigger places. And it was mostly people living full-time who were, the counterculture kind of was already people who had given up everything looking for an ideal. So many people found that ideal in the spiritual teachings and in the example of Prabhupada. So in the beginning days, the Hare Krishna movement in America was small ashrams, and devotees would chant in the street, and devotees would try to enlighten people with their message through distribution of literature. And that's kind of what the American public knew the Hare Krishna movement for. From the context where I learned about it in India, there's
completely different, wasn't it?
There's doctors, and there's lawyers, and there's housewives, and there's teachers, and there's farmers, and there's also monks who have given their whole lives and hearts to follow these teachings. So it's a whole society of followers. And little by little in America, that natural evolution has taken place, where we find there's many Indians that have come from India since the 1960s, and they fill our temples because they see that this is an original representation of the depth of their faith and being presented in a very nice way. And of course, now that many of the earlier people who connected to this movement, they're not just monks anymore, but they have families, they have husbands, they have wives, they have children, they have grandchildren, they have great-grandchildren. and they're very much within the society, integrated in the society. So the evolution of the Krishna Consciousness Society is becoming more natural, and the challenge is always there for any spiritual movement is to preserve the original essence and context within a tradition as it expands more and more into the society.
I know what that's like, because our daddy, who's 100 years old, I sometimes wonder what would it be like, when that depth of tradition is no longer with us, but yet think that individuals like yourself who are consistently believing in the root of that, you hold that. And of course it's going to be at a different level, but you're still holding it, and that's what's crucial. Swami, I don't want to finish our conversation without exploring some of the tremendous acts of charity that you and your family members and team and disciples of your movement are doing. I'm particularly curious about the eco-friendly villages that you've established, and are there any in America?
Well, I'm primarily based in India, in the state of Maharashtra, and we've developed an eco-village about 2 hours north of Mumbai. And the idea of the eco-village is based on a very simple, universal spiritual principle that when we actually come in contact with our own spirit, with Krishna, or our name of God who's within our hearts, then naturally we see everything in reference and in harmony with that awareness. We see that Mother Earth is God's property. Mother Earth is the motherly aspect of God that's providing everything for everyone. And when we recognize that she's giving her grace in every drop of rain, in every grain, in every seed, in the soil, in the air that we breathe, and we become grateful. We become humble to receive it. And in that gratitude and humility, which is the basis of bhakti or devotion, then we will not exploit her, but we will live in a mood of service, live in a mood of respect. And similarly, every living being is a child of the same source, of the same God. Whether we're black or white or red or yellow or brown, or whether we're Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Jew or Jain or Buddhist or Sikh or Zoroastrian or agnostic or atheist, whether we're rich or poor, whether we're humans or dogs or cats or cows or elephants, wherever there's life, it's sacred. And to honor life and to live in a spirit of compassion, which is the true expression of spirituality, to really live in a spirit of seva, which means to serve with compassion, to serve with love, then naturally so many of the solutions to the problems the world face can be addressed in a very effective way. So in our eco-village, because there's so much drought in the villages in that area, we have developed water harvesting. Where it does rain, we can just collect enough water in natural ways that we have for 50 acres of crops, and for all the several hundred people that live in our village, we have enough water throughout the year. And the other villages which are really suffering, we're teaching them how to do the same thing, and we're showing them by an example. And sewage refinery, we have a very natural, just through whatever we flush down the toilet or what goes through our drains, by gravity and by
that can
solar
water
power.
the grass.
Yeah, it goes through a process of purification, just going through a very wonderful treatment center of rocks and herbs and stones. and ultimately it comes out transparent water, and it can either be put back into the soil in a very effective way, or it can be put back into the sewage system. And we have organic, natural, sustainable farming, where we use heirloom seeds, indigenous seeds, to grow things, which, many of these seeds are practically extinct because, major seed companies really are eliminating all of these natural ways of growing, which are full of nutrition and medicinal qualities. And we have animal protection, where we have many cows. We also have sheep and goats and dogs and donkeys. And we're trying to teach that, that these, and people come from all over the world, and when they meet these animals and they see how they respond to love, so many people can't. They decide, how can I eat animals anymore now that I know them so intimately? Because we're so far removed from the personal nature of the life-living qualities of other living beings. And we try to really reach out and help the village people as much as we possibly can. We have a whole department for women empowerment where we go to these villages and we teach so many skills and give so many counseling sessions to really help to empower the women to be the best that they can. And the eco-villages, we're trying to make it a holistic approach to living in harmony. Yoga means to harmonize the body with the mind, with the soul, and then to harmonize the soul or the true self with God, with Mother Nature, and with each other. And I believe that eco-villages like this are a natural expression of that holistic attempt to live with compassion.
What wonderful work that is, because it's just so needed. And I so believe, Swami, that India will be definitely continuously showing the world a huge example of how one of the oldest civilizations can literally recycle itself and go back to its deity culture. Swami, I would love to keep talking to you, but I cannot hang up this conversation with you until you tell us what is the best vision that you could offer America and your blessings for America at this time.
There's a beautiful analogy that I learned in a redwood forest, that the redwood trees are some of the oldest and largest and tallest trees in the entire planet. And they grow in loose soil, and over the centuries there have been earthquakes, and there have been massive windstorms and blizzards, and somehow they keep growing. And the underground secret I learned is the roots of the redwood trees underground, they grow outward, and when the roots of two trees meet, they embrace. They wrap around each other and make a permanent bond. And in this way, all the roots of the redwood trees are directly or indirectly giving support to all the other trees in the forest. Their unity is their strength because they care. And it's really important that we go beyond the superficial external differences that we have and we see the inherent unity that we have. We're all part of the same ecosystem. We're all children of the same God. We're all truly brothers and sisters on the inherent spiritual level. And the more we care for each other and help each other, the more in giving we receive, we understand the beauty of life. And, to have that faith, to have that realization, putting some time aside for our spiritual practice is very important. To chant God's names, to associate with people who inspire us and enliven us is very important. And then to really live with integrity, with character, because that's the greatest need in the world today. Where there's character and integrity, where there's compassion, all other good things could follow.
That is so pretty. That is so pretty. Thank you for all the work that you're doing, and congratulations on your new book, The Journey Within, and hopefully the nation's capital will get you to visit it soon, and we'll be able to have you over at the Meditation Museum. Before I let you go, Swami, is there a website or anything that you would like to tell us how our listeners can find you if they would like some more information?
I'm not so good with websites, but I believe there's a radhanathswami.com, radhanathswami.com, and I believe our eco-village, govardhanecovillage.org, and we also have a beautiful hospital, Bhaktivedanta Hospital, and there are different presentations on these different websites of some of those things that are happening. And I cannot tell you how deeply grateful I am that you included me in your wonderful show, and you hosted me with such gracious and self-realized hospitality. I'm really moved, and I really hope that we can meet again really soon.
Me too. Thank you very much. I feel the same sentiments as well, Swami. So thank you so, so much.
Thank you very, very much.
Many good wishes. Om Shanti. So what do we do after such a conversation? just to feel the well intentions from Swami's presence, voice, and his ability to just take us to another way of thinking, and yet very, very practical. I mean, listen to positive people, read positive things, be in a gathering of positive people. That's it. Just keep your life moving to its best ability, but don't sell it short. It's not the time. It's not the time. Hope you've enjoyed my conversation with Radhanath Swami. I know he doesn't know his website, but we do. So it's Radhanath Swami, RADHANATH Swami, SWAMI.com. You've been listening to America Meditating Radio. We're calling all of you to meditate the vote, our campaign that we've launched. We want to make our lives into a better world, so please send us your video that I meditate the vote because, and feel free to engage in the conversations or the questions that we have designed for all of us to think deeper and to come from a deeper place. No one's making any profit on this. This is our gift to humanity. We don't care if we have to send our last penny. We will, but we think there's really a great need for this conversation to take place at this time in the nation's capital. Remember, no one can take away your happiness unless you give them permission, and we are here to love each other the same. We'll end today's conversation by our good friend Sanatan Kaur. Sat Shri Akal. Take care, everyone.
Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Satanam Akal Murut Vaheguru. Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Satanam Akal Murut Vaheguru. Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Satanam Akal Murut Vaheguru. Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Satanam Akal Murut Vaheguru. Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Satanam Akal Murut Vaheguru. Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Satanam Akal Murut Vaheguru. Sat Siri Siri Akal Siri Akal Mahaka Maha